And he said that one man, I believe it was a gentleman, came down. He was doing that, and he was told, "We will get you for this."
And they did. I mean, it's obvious.
Did.
They took him down with a scandal.
Did. Yeah, they really did. And it wasn't like he was the only person who's created a scandal. My God, look at the felons that are in Congress right now. Don't tell me about scandals. Look at what's going on right now in our government. That's scandal.
Exactly.
So, I mean, he wasn't the only individual. And I'm not saying it's a Democrat or Republican. Both had the problem. Mm-hmm. But it is a real concern. Charles Key, he's had his share of problems. Terrence Shakey, I met Terrence. I knew him. I knew his ex-wife. When he was having the problems, when he had reviewed his report and turned in his first report at the police department to his supervisor, he was told to take it right back, cut it down. He didn't want all that information in there. Terrence refused. He rewrote it, but he refused to do what he said. He was taking a copy of that out. He talked to his wife and told her he was concerned for his life.
He was concerned for his family too, and a lot of his efforts to protect his family.
The two children he had, and they were supposed to leave. I believe the night that he was murdered, he was supposed to come back and take them down to Texas. They were going to, I believe, get remarried.
Yeah, see, he had reconciled.
Because of the children. Yeah,
right.
With the
he had
children.
reconciled with his wife. Yeah. He had gotten a promotion. He was getting the key to the city.
Right.
He had everything to live for, and his death was declared a suicide. Now, the parameters around that is that he had supposedly cut his wrists in his car, cut his neck, and then I guess tied a rope around his neck, handcuff marks, and dragged himself a mile away into a field, and then shot himself with a small caliber weapon at a downward angle through the top of his head. It came out his jaw far enough away that it didn't leave powder residue on his head. And then the sheriff's department, when they do arrive, they do a thorough search of the area. They cannot find the weapon because it was federal property. When the FBI lands, here's the weapon. They immediately go and find it. The sheriff's department had also reported that there were 2 boxes of documents in the back of his car, and then whenever it gets to the impound lot, it's not actually part of the inventory.
Well, also, he had left his video camera at his home, and right after that, the police department comes to her home, Terry's wife's home, and bursts in. No knock, no nothing, just barges in, goes directly, where is the camera, where is everything? She said, where's your warrant? They went in, they searched everything, took everything that they wanted, and walked out with it. And that had a lot of evidence, I'm sure, on it.
Yeah, I mean...
And he died with nothing. They left him nothing. They gave him nothing, and they call this... that he should have been able to have a pension and do for that. They didn't even have the courtesy to call and do those things.
And every police officer that dies in Oklahoma City gets an autopsy. Terrence Shakey did not get one. They didn't ask his family if he had ever had suicidal comments or thoughts. And when they question the suicide, they say, "Oh, you watch too much television. You're acting crazy. You need to go back home and stop worrying about it." And this is not a way to treat a hero that saved 8 people's lives that day.
Well, Terry also had, Terry's wife said that she had a call from one of the policemen that he worked with, that he had talked to Terry the day before, and he said the feds were after him. Mm-hmm. They were following him. And he said, I've been told that I cannot tell you that I know he was in fact murdered by them, because they've already told us if any of us talk, we're dead, our families are dead. That was not an uncommon thing, to be intimidated by everybody down the line.
Did you know Don Browning?
Yes, I knew him,
okay.
Not well. And Don knew things that were going on, and he talked about them. He would talk with VC, he would meet with people. He would talk to things, talk to people about what was happening. And, but they didn't want to hear it. It's just like, thank God that when Carol Howe went to before the court, and her supervisor, they had made her out to be a liar and she was crazy. And when her supervisor got on the stand and she said, she was under oath, she said what she said was absolutely the truth. Surely more people out there have morals to stand up for what everybody in World War I and World War II stood for. The military today, they go, the military today go over there to areas where this is a political war. This isn't war against the United States. It's a political war. And they sacrifice their lives, their family life, their homes, the injuries that they sustain. They give their lives for this so that people could have freedom. And yet when they kill someone over there, they're made to come back and account for their action. It doesn't matter if you've got a bad psychological day over there. You're on your second or third tour. You can't have, a breakdown and kill people. That's against the law. You're coming back and going to be court-martialed, or you're going to get killed, or dishonorable discharge. That's wrong. Somebody in this government and somebody in Congress needs to step up, and both sides of the file say, this is enough we've had going on. We need to get it taken care of. We need to protect our boys, bring them home.
Absolutely.
I just have to say, this has been an amazing interview. And like I said, one of the most important I've ever done. It's real. Jane, my heart just aches with pain for the children that died, the friends you lost, but it also is buoyed and swells with pride at the honor and the courage you've had, and the courage of the makers of A Noble Lie, and Terrence Yakey, who spoke out, and they tortured and murdered. Last call to his partner, the feds are behind me, they're pulling me over. They tortured him pretty bad to try to find out where the documents were. The police officers that have been threatened, others that have been killed. I've been death threatened over this. I know you've had a lot of stuff go on, James. This is real. People need to know this is real, and I want to commend and thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this edition of InfoWars Nightly News. This interview needs to be seen by 10 million people. But it's up to you to send it to your Facebook, your Twitter list, everybody. I'm not risking my life for nothing. I've studied history. I know we can defeat these people if we stand up against them and have courage. Because you notice these staged attacks get bigger. First World Trade Center, FBI cooked the bomb, trained the drivers. Thank God it didn't bring down the tower. Then Oklahoma City. Then 9/11. Now they're talking about nukes going off. They detonate a nuke, they're really going to get martial law in place. This is about a bunch of hardcore crooks who compete with each other to see who's the most nastiness, taking control of our society. And you look at your children, you got to realize they have no future if we don't say no to this right now. I wish most men in this country had 1/10 the courage of the lady we just interviewed. I wish that men would stand up for honor and the truth, because when you don't stand up against evil, it takes over and runs rampant. So shame on the men of America for being a bunch of mindless sports fans and not standing up and speaking out against this lie. They're going to use the lies of staged terror to wreck our society and take over our world if you don't do something about it. The fight is happening now. The war is now. Will you answer that call and defend the Republic? It's up to you. Please get the film. It's available at Infowars.com. Get it out to people. A Noble Lie, the only modern, well-done, professionally produced film exposing this criminal conspiracy to set up a police state in America in the name of fighting terrorism that the mega banks who staged the terror attacks are actually involved in. They are using their own Reichstag events, their own false flags, their own self-inflicted wounds to bring in this tyranny and pose as our saviors. So please get the film out to everybody. I'm Alex Jones, signing off from the front lines of the InfoWar. Until next time, Lord willing.